your side, breaking news.
Breaking overnight, one woman is dead after a shooting on 15th Street. We're told it happened near the corner of Harper Street, near the VA and Augusta University Medical Center. Our Tiziana Onstead is there now live. She's been following this story for us all morning long. Tiz, have there been any new developments?
No new information at this moment right now, and the scene has been cleared for about 2 hours now. You can see the road is back open. Cars are running through. People are waking up this morning. But that shooting happened just before 1 a.m. this morning. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says that the Augusta University police officers heard there was a disturbance out here off 15th Street in Harper. And when they arrived to the scene, they saw one female had been shot and laying on the side of the road of 15th Street, but no suspect in sight. That suspect fled the scene after that shooting. That's when Richmond County deputies ended up arriving to the scene to help out with that search. Now, the coroner also came out this morning and said that that female died around 1:30 this morning to at least one gunshot wound. But 2 hours later, around 3:30, we got an update from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office that said that they do have a suspect in custody now for that shooting. They had not have identified the victim nor the suspect. They say it's very early on in the investigation, but as soon as we get more information, we'll be sure to update you on air and online. For now, we're live. Tiziana Onstead on your side.
All right, half past the hour, sky brightening up just a touch. Some light rain on shore here between the South Carolina-Georgia state line. We're back downtown looking at a nice commute here this morning. Fog has not been an issue. Cool temps, feeling pretty good. Fall-like. Starting off with 58 for now. It's a range of upper 50s to about the low 60s out there at the bus stop this morning. A gentle breeze out of the northeast through again today. Temperatures will be warming up a little above average again. The average of 81, which will be at right at lunchtime. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy. 84 here with a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind to finish up the school day and head back on at 3 o'clock. Should be very dry today and tomorrow. It's the weekend outlook. It starts to look a little bit wetter, especially into late Saturday and Sunday. Of course, outdoor events that'll be taking place may have to bring an umbrella to those. We'll be checking out that in the weekend outlook in just a little while. Back to you.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. The McCormick County Correctional Institute is secure this morning, and all correctional officers are okay after a small uproar broke out there late yesterday.
There were a whole lot of rumors circulating about all of this, but the South Carolina Department of Corrections says it was isolated to just one housing unit. It never affected the whole prison. That unit holds about 38 inmates, and again, we're told is now secure.
Now, originally, we were told the inmates started a small fire, but Corrections says that's not the case. At one point, though, we do know several inmates were on the roof. Now, again, as far as we know, there have been no injuries. We're still working to confirm what led to this disturbance.
This is not the first time this prison has made headlines. Not even a year ago, an inmate escaped. This past January, another prisoner tried to escape, but then was later found on prison grounds.
And earlier this week, family members of inmates told us prisoners were only being allowed 1 cup of water a day. Now, it was later revealed the facility is under a boil water advisory for a water main break.
As the investigation continues this morning in Las Vegas, the FBI says there are still no clues about what pushed Stephen Paddock to carry out the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
Now, as they dig deeper, we are learning more chilling details about that attack. Jay Gray has the latest.
Keep your head down, go!
4 days after the massacre in Las Vegas, the investigation is growing.
More than 100 investigators have spent the last 72 hours combing through the life of 64-year-old Stephen Paddock to produce a profile of someone I will call disturbed and dangerous.
There is new information this morning, including this stunning revelation from Sheriff Joe Lombardo.
Do you think this was all accomplished on his own? Self-value, face value. You got to make the assumption that he had to have some help at some point.
While police don't know where that help may have come from, the investigation has revealed a significant amount of explosives in Paddock's car, thousands of rounds of unused ammunition in his hotel room. We also now know some of his guns apparently jammed during the attack. And while they won't say what it is, investigators do say there's evidence Paddock expected to survive and escape after the attack. Federal agents have spent hours talking with his girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, and say she's cooperating fully with the investigation. She also shared a statement through her attorney.
I am devastated by the deaths and injuries that have occurred, and my prayers go out to the victims and their families.
Victims and families that, like investigators, continue to search for answers here. Jay Gray, NBC News, Las Vegas.
Meanwhile, the gun control debate continues to heat up on Capitol Hill after this shooting.
Yes, some Democratic lawmakers looking to ban bump stocks. Now, those are the devices reportedly used by the shooter to make his semi-automatic guns fire more like fully machine guns.
And while in Vegas visiting with the victims, President Donald Trump told reporters, though, now is not the time.
We're not going to talk about that today.
Well, many Democrats say this is something they hear all too often, and they say they want to know when will be the time.
How many more must die? 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million? What is your blood price? How many more must die?
So far, at least 2 Republicans say they would back the ban on bump stocks. One Texas lawmaker says, quote, there is no reason for them.
Well, other Democrats are pushing for a law that would beef up background checks, but say they don't want to introduce it until they know they have support from Republicans.
Today is the last day renewal requests will be accepted for those who are protected by DACA. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program allows Dreamers, as they're called, those brought into the U.S. as children, to stay in the country. Last month, President Trump said he would end the program in 6 months. Requests granted today will be valid for 2 years.
Now, the end of that program has many Dreamers, of course, worried about their future. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham says he's got a plan to help.
In a news conference yesterday, he talked about that plan and even assured some of those Dreamers that President Trump wants to help.
I've talked with him extensively about this problem with the kids behind us, and I can assure everyone here that President Trump gets your dilemma and is resolved to solve your problem.
Well, Graham says his DREAM Act would give more students more opportunities to become U.S. citizens.
Also today, the funeral services for the victim of last week's crash into a Taco Bell restaurant. 23-year-old Macy Mullis was inside the Swainsboro Taco Bell when officials say 18-year-old Oliver Cope purposely drove his car right into it.
Now, last night, dozens came out to a visitation for the former corrections officer. The family, they say they are very appreciative of all the support, but they're still in shock.
It hit me so hard, it's just hard to believe. But Macy, you love her to death, and Macy didn't hurt nobody. She was an awesome person. She would come up to you and hug your neck if she didn't know you. A lovable young lady.
Well, 3 others continue to recover from that crash this morning. AU Medical Center tells us they have no additional information on Javier Rodriguez, Sarah Rose Kersey, or 7-year-old Isaac Trent Kersey right now. Now, that could mean they're either out of the hospital, have been transferred, or their information is now protected.
Meanwhile, investigators are still looking for a motive in all of this, but again, they do believe Cope drove his car into the Taco Bell on purpose. Today's funeral services for Mullis will be at the James Funeral Home Chapel at 2 in the afternoon. Mullis will then be buried in the Reedy Creek Baptist Cemetery.
Well, hundreds of NAACP leaders from across the country will be in Augusta today for the 75th annual convention. This as the Augusta branch celebrates its 100th anniversary. The convention will be at Beulah Grove Baptist Church. Registration is still open, but there are limited tickets for signature events. Events continue through Sunday and will include several workshops on local and national issues.
And on your side update now to the Cyber Center coming downtown. You can see the building already starting to take shape. A project manager tells us they're nearly done with the first half of the building and are already up on through the 3rd floor. The GBI says the state's Cyber Crime Center will also be located in that center. If you're interested in working there and with the GBI, 9 digital forensic investigative positions are open.
While we remain very quiet here in the weather pattern in the southeast, we got to put a lot of attention here down in the tropics. Tropical Depression 16. Now, yes, still a few days away from becoming any kind of issue up into the southeast, but that's the way it's looking here to potentially see a tropical system moving into the Gulf of Mexico as we head into the end of the weekend. We've got Tropical Depression 16. The winds are at 35. The track is to expect to see strengthening, becoming a tropical storm, and possibly a hurricane, Category 1 by late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Now, looking at the track right there, kind of uncertainty as far as the cone goes, the western panhandle of Florida all the way through southeast Louisiana. So we could be looking at a good rainmaker here for the Gulf states of Louisiana to Florida, and then moving up somewhere across portions of the southeast and bringing in that influence of rainfall into our Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday's forecast. Right now, if you're getting a little jog or a bike ride in the next few hours, it's going to be beautiful out there. Clear, cool, temperatures right at about 60 degrees. A light breeze from time to time out of the northeast, which is continuing here this morning, and still driving in some light rains. Nothing here locally. We haven't seen any rain since mid-September. We're seeing scattered showers right along I-95 between Savannah, Georgia, and also Jacksonville, Florida. So meanwhile, our temperatures from the 50s and 60s now, with a few waves of clouds and sun that mix in for the afternoon, will be up there in the low to mid 80s, 83 to 86 degrees. Between 3 and 5 o'clock. Starting to get into that evening planner, 6:30 to 7 around dinner time. Very pleasant, mostly clear skies. Will stay clear and dry overnight. Maybe a little patchy fog into the Friday morning forecast. But then temperatures a little bit warmer for tomorrow afternoon. We still can see that continuous feed of scattered clouds. Maybe a few sprinkles here developing through Friday evening. The temperatures in the middle 80s by 6:30 to 7 o'clock. But rain is not going to be a concern today or tomorrow. Now getting into Saturday afternoon, Sunday, that certainly will change, and the influence will be from the tropics here. Outside, the skies are clear. We're looking downtown. Sky brightening up a bit more, 58 officially our temperature to start the day off, but there will be again a warming trend for the next few days. Above average highs here at midday, 81 mostly sunny to a few scattered clouds here through 5 p.m. with that north wind at 5 to 10. So 86 will move up a little bit further. Tomorrow at 88, we'll see increasing clouds more into Saturday at 40% chance of showers, and all the way into the first half of next week. Kind of a big question mark, but right now the outlook does put some rainfall back in here Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday's forecast with middle to upper 80s. So above average highs. No real drop in the temps to show any sign of fall coming our way for the next 7 days. 6:42 on the clock.
Bluetooth, GPS, voice command, all meant to make our lives a little easier. How one study says that might not be the case, though, especially behind the wheel.
Not far away from that weekend forecast where we do see finally a bit of a change in the planner. We'll talk about some events going on out in the CSRA as well. Next, stay with us.
We'll do it. We'll stay right here. The time is 6:41 on this Thursday. We're back on the other side of this break.